Welcome, everyone, to Weekend Wisdom. This is our opportunity to answer your questions. It's put on by the nonprofit creatingafamily.org. You can send us questions to answer to info@creatingafamily.org. So please send us your questions because we've gotten some great ones and we want to answer your specific questions. All right, so today the question is from Tina. And it's all about how to deal with a long wait in adoption. So she asks, how can prospective parents manage their thoughts and emotions while waiting to be matched with a child, especially in the case where the waiting period is a long one? All right, well, Tina does not say whether she's talking about domestic infant adoption or adopting from foster care or international. And in some ways, it really doesn't matter. So we're just going to answer the question kind of assuming all three. First of all, Tina, I just want to say I feel for you. I truly do. You know, this waiting time it's like living in limbo. That's especially the case if it's your first child, but even if it's subsequent kids, it's still a time where you are, as my grandmother would say, neither fish nor fowl. In many ways, you are expecting, but there are no visible signs that you are expecting, and they're facing one of the biggest life events without all the usual supports, because a lot of people won't even know that you are expecting a child. And then we throw in the whole idea of the unknown time period. For a lot of things that are big events, we know they're coming, we prep for them, we know there's an end time, there's a defined end time. So, I always take the assumption that I could deal with anything for X period of time. But in this case, you don't really know what that X period of time is. Plus, even after you get a match, you don't really know, especially with domestic infant, because it is not unusual at all for expectant moms to change their mind and decide to parent. So even then, you don't have a firm, confirmed end date. So now, after I've depressed you with all the things you probably already know, I was really trying just to give you validation for it. It's not in your imagination. You're not being a wimp. It is a hard thing to go through. So now to your real question, how do you cope? One of the first things you need to do is find your people, find a group who can support you. And don't expect that they're going to understand what you're going through. So you're going to have to educate them. There are still plenty of people who believe if you're going to adopt, you just go to the baby store, so to speak, and there is a baby waiting for you. You pick the baby and then you come home. As you well know, there is nothing further from the truth. That is not how it works now. So you can't expect for whoever your support system is going to be, whether it's your family or your friends or some combination of both. You need to explain how the process works, why you're doing it, and then specifically say, it's going to be a wait, I don't know how long, and I'm going to need your support. And then tell them, for most people, this, especially if it's a long wait, this waiting period is a time where it's kind of a mix between where it's all you want to talk about and it's the last thing you want to talk about. You're sometimes seeking people who will talk with you about this and share your excitement, your anxiety, and everything else. And other times what you're really looking for is a distraction. And you need to let your support system know, and you get to choose. You get to choose, and you'll let them know when you want to talk and when you want to be distracted. And honor the full breadth of both of those emotions. There is nothing wrong with either of those things. And quite frankly, both are healthy at times. Another thing that people like to do during the wait that they find helpful is to plan monthly or quarterly fun things that you're really looking forward to doing it. Maybe it's a vacation, maybe it's a concert or something that you're really looking forward to. So when that month passes or 3 months pass, and you don't have a child, you could still say, well, at least I get to go on this vacation, or at least I get to go to this concert, or whatever it is that you are that you have to really be looking forward to. And yes, you still might rather have had the child or the baby, but you still have at least this to look forward to. Another thing to do is take advantage of this time to do things that you're not going to be able to do or you won't be able to do easily once the baby or the child comes. Take guitar lessons, take vacations. I mentioned that before. Throw a big party, schedule monthly outings with your friends or your family or whatever. Those are all things that will help you with the passing of the time. And these are also things that, honestly, you could do once a child comes, but it gets more complicated. So take advantage of the time to indulge yourself in all those activities. Another thing to do during this time is volunteer. It helps you get out of yourself. It is so easy to get overly focused on yourself during this time and what you're looking forward to and what you're wishing for. It really helps to get out of yourself and focus on somebody else. And volunteering will be harder once a baby or a child comes. So consider volunteering. You could consider volunteering with something that works with kids, or you may just want to avoid kids altogether and choose some other activity, an environmental group or whatever. Another thing to do during this time is think of some things that you would like to know or have knowledge of once the baby arrives. And then take advantage of this time to learn about it. You've probably had to take a baby CPR course, but you could get a refresher. Something that I loved to do was sing to my kids. I have a lousy voice, but my kids are the only ones who appreciate it. But I used the time while I was waiting to learn lullabies that I could sing to my kids and to my babies after they got old enough. Actually, my kids let me sing to them for a surprisingly long period of time and never judged me. Well, when they got older, they did, but for the most part, when they were younger, they never judged me. If you are crafty, you may want to make baby clothes or baby blankets. You may want to research some of the best of the adoption books. A plug here, Creating a Family has a suggested book list based on the type of adoption and age of the child. creatingafamily.org. Hover over adoption. There's click on suggested books. And start slowly adding these books to your library. You may want to research what type of bottling system, baby bottle system you're going to use. Yes, believe it or not, there are systems out there, and you can learn that. Do you want to use cloth diapers or disposable diapers? Stuff like that. Take advantage and just go ahead and start immersing yourself. That would include, of course, decorating the nursery. However, for all the things I just mentioned, there is one huge caution, and that is you've got to really know yourself and you got to pace yourself, because especially I think in terms of the nursery, it would just kill me to have to walk by a completely decorated nursery. It would just add to my pain. For other people, they don't feel that way. They look by and they see hope and the potential joy. Or other people are able just to close the door and ignore it. And the same with making baby clothes and blankets and even doing the research. That may make it easier for you, or it may make it harder for you. So you just have to know yourself and wade in cautiously and stop if you see that it's just adding additional pressure to your life. And the last thing I want to say is nurture your relationship if you're partnered, or nurture your friendship relationships if you're not, or even if you are partnered, both of those. You know, once kids come, it's easy to not focus on our primary relationship, and our primary relationship should be the relationship with our partner if we have one. And if we don't have one, our friends are our support system, and we need them and we need to nurture them. So utilize this time to go out of your way to spend time with, do kind things for, think of, be helpful for, do any other way you can think of to nurture these important relationships in your life. All right, Tina, I wish you the absolute best of luck, and please let us know when you get a child or a baby. We would love to be your cheering section, and in the interim, we can be your support section. You can join our support group. It's on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/creatingafamily. Thanks a lot for your question. It was a fun one. And before everybody leaves, let me remind you that in addition to this podcast and our long-form podcast, we have a newsletter. We would love for you to subscribe. You can do that at creatingafamily.org/newsletter. Thanks for joining us, and let others know about this Week in Wisdom podcast from Creating a Family. They can subscribe just through the general Creating a Family podcast. Thanks a lot. Bye.